The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Happy people, how are you? You're fine? To confirm if you're truly fine, just check for me your neighbor and see whether they're smiling. Yes, hello, they're smiling? Can we confirm? Now, the last time, check whether they can see their teeth while they smile. Okay, thank you very much. Please clap for yourselves one more time and welcome to... Yes, I'm your host, Henry Minor, for this GBS TV talking show, and we are very privileged to have Tibbs on set. Is this Tibbs? Tibbs means Thika business. Yes, so we are very much grateful that actually you are here with you. And for the audience out there, also thank you for joining us. Please stay here as we talk and as we have a conversation of the true issues that are facing the society and how to overcome certain things. Today we are privileged to also have a special guest, okay? But before I have a special guest, I do understand all of you are within the communication industry, the media industry, okay? These people are always vibrant. They are always, willing to come forward and speak. Anyone who wants to come forward and do something, I don't know what to do. Sometimes they call it peace to the camera. You want to do a sign out. Who wants to try? Anyone? Chances 1, chances 2, chances 3. These are not journalists. These are not journalists. With the journalists, journalists, they always go towards the danger. When people are running away, then they are going to where the danger is. Why? To give a story, to have the story. So also for you, you should be courageous to this extent. Okay? So I hope that in future and with time, as we continue the program, we can also have this aspect, okay? And especially most of the time, journalists, what we do most, or what actually journalists do, is that they talk and they really want to give information, but I think for Tibbs, it's a little bit different. You want to sit and listen. At least for today, or it's today. Wow, okay. I got that. It's only here talking where you can learn of such aspects. Yeah. Wise men, listen. Okay? So also today we've prepared a special guest for you. One, he goes by the name of Ronald Amaganga. Okay? He's a Kenyan, but also he's international. Okay? Secondly, he is a father of many. By many, I mean that he is an administrator of Faith Ventures Christian Academy. It's located at Garden Estate, okay? And then, that but not least, is that I have known him for a long time. And every time I interact with him, I get something positive. For he is a teacher, he's a mentor, and especially on Christian morals and also within the society, how people can live a positive life, okay? Are you eager to listen from him today? Are you eager to listen from him today? It seems as if some people they want to listen or something like this. But please, I assure you, you're going to have a fascinating time here, okay? Yes, so please keenly and also interactively, okay? Let us engage Ronald Amaganga as he comes on set. So please put your hands together as we invite our guest for today, Ronald Amaganga. Yes. How are you, sir?
Quite good.
Fine, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
First and foremost, thank you so much for honoring our invitation to GBS Talking Show.
All right.
Yes, as you can see, we have lovely students and audience who are willing to also listen from you. But to begin with, maybe what were you like in those young days like them?
What was I like? The perfect child.
Okay.
Is that a lie?
I don't know. Maybe someone else can speak.
What do you think? I look like I was the perfect child, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, come on. Why would you doubt? Yeah. Anyway, I grew up in Kenya with a very international mindset, I would say, and by and large, went to a normal high school, normal primary school, normal high school, went on to university. I may have enjoyed university quite a lot. Then nobody's going to decipher that, well, what it meant that I enjoyed university quite a
Imagine, in
lot.
fact, you see the way they're looking at you with keen eyes. Now they truly want to know what is it that you truly enjoyed. But thank you so much. Let's clap for him once more again. Yes. Mr. Ronald, once more time, we are very grateful. And today we are privileged also to hear from you. So the floor is yours, and I hope that you can actually take the floor and proceed. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
I will take more than the floor. I might just take your heart as well. Yeah. Does that scare you? When someone tells you they'll take your heart, you better run and be scared. Yeah. It's interesting how much, I had this feeling, or I was told, that you are in the news and media industry. So you may understand, who told me? Someone told me that, when the dog bites a man, that's not news. What is news? I wonder, don't you sometimes feel like, but this is open for you to think about. Maybe we've over-concentrated on the stories of men biting dogs. I don't know. But everywhere we see, the news we listen to, day by day, it's one negative after another. I don't know. I suspect maybe that challenges our outlook, and we find ourselves because after you've listened to news 15 minutes down the line, no good story. Everything is about what has been stolen, who has mugged who has, interfered with who's what. And the sense of negativity can overly influence your thinking, can overly influence your view of life, can overly influence your person. And that's what I'm here to challenge you about. Is there room for you to take the other road, the road of being positive, the road of seeing the good, and just blowing that good? Not where you can never overblow or show too much of good. Do you think there's the possibility of us having too much good? What do you think? Good is good. And the more good that we have, the better. Are you with me? Yes. In the time we live in, it's a challenge to stay positive. But I'm here to challenge you. There's an old book, Most Reliable, written by many authors. And that book has been kept for us to refer to. And one wise man, he's known as Solomon, the wisest man ever, writing in the 23rd chapter of his book, I think it should be his third or second book, the Proverbs. In the 7th verse, he says, as a man thinks in his heart, okay, a man here includes all of us. as an individual, as a person thinks in his heart, so is he. How you think in your heart. Okay, not what you pretend or tell us you're thinking about. What you think in your heart. That place where many of us may not come to. That private space. That place where you are yourself. That is what you are. It is so critical that you address that place where you think. And what you think in that place had better be positive. It had better be good. Because all around us, it is the negative that is given. That's what is news anyway. So if you do not address what you think in there, at that place, then you are bound to give in. Or it will be easier for you to fall into the temptation of the negative that is screaming around you. But if you have addressed it in there, and you're a positive person there, then you will be positive. And when you are positive, that tends to draw quite a lot to you. Amen. It is so core what you think in there that, even people with great advantages on the outside, people who you'd look at and you'd think they have great advantage, but because in there they had not addressed what they were thinking, their end becomes quite negative. There's an example of an old nation known as Israel. Their very first king, he's described as having been very strong. He was a head taller than everyone else. It is described of him that he was handsome. Actually, he would have easily have won Mr. Kenya. The other day there was a Mr. Kenya, Miss World, Mr. World Kenya. He would have won it hands down. But and he wasn't under the pressure some of us have. In our jobs, for example, or where there has been an administrator of the school where I ran. They brought the school from nothing. They've built it up to where it is. I came in and took over. You see, there's pressure. For him, there had never been another king of Israel. So he was the guy to set the standard. I wish I was like him. Picture that. There's no one who's done this before. So you're the one who's sort of now that we are in the exam season, we can talk of, you're the marking scheme. But it is recorded. Because he was little, he was small in his heart. Outside, he's a head taller than everybody else. Outside, he's the most handsome. Outside, he could fight any battle. And the Philistines, who are the enemies of this nation known as Israel, they had felt his hand. But because he felt small in his heart, I'm just giving you that story to illustrate. Even with great advantages, if you have not addressed what you think here, and you think negative, and you think, this guy, I've just told you, he was a head taller than everybody else. But there's a time he's running away to hide. You imagine where he chose to hide. He went to hide among people. What an interesting place to hide. If you are a head taller than everyone else, and you hide among the people, it will be very hard to find you. Speak to me. So I'm saying, and he ends up dying a very ignoble death. He killed himself, which in itself wasn't quite, there's nothing kingly about killing yourself. And we've seen people in our times, university students. The other day, a top manager at in an international accounting firm in this country. He just stepped out of his window and down he went, dead, and now buried. Address matters in the heart. Think good things in there. I'll challenge you. 3 things to think, to help you think and remain on the positive path. Think positive. Think possibility. And think posterity. In that same good book I've told you about, an older man who had done a lot of travel. He was as international as they come. He's known as Paul. He writes to a younger man, and I can see some young people here, and he writes to him, and he challenges him. In the 4th part, am I speaking about Timothy? Maybe I should. I'll get there. But writing to yet another group of people, he was that international. Speaking to a group of people at Philippi, he writes to them and tells them, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, did you hear that? Whatever things are true. Then whatever things are noble, whatever things are just. 3 standards: true, noble, just. Whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is anything good, meditate, or rather think about these things. If you focus on the negative, mark my words, it will be soon you'll go down that line and you make wrong decisions and you give in to the negativity around us. But true. So before you start giving it a little more thought than necessary, ask yourself, is it true? Ask yourself, is it noble? Does it bring out the good aspects of life? Noble. Whatever things are just. Is it just? You know, when you see a news report or when you file a news report, ask yourself, is it just? Is there justification? Is there rightness about it? Is it pure? And I know you might have a lot of problems with the census and, government agencies that challenge you or challenge media about this. But let's ask ourselves, is it pure? Let's ask ourselves, is it lovely? Does it show the beauty of life? And I'm not only saying when you're assessing public things. No, even in your own private space. Challenge yourself. Is what I'm giving thought to lovely? Does it bring out the beauty of life? Is what I'm thinking, is it pure? Does it show what would build people or build me? If it is a good thing, if it is praiseworthy, think on it. Then you are bound to stay positive. And it is very core that we get to that point where our positive spirit is so infectious. You walk into a room and the atmosphere changes. Why? Because you're not the one who's complaining. The matatu today. Even in that matatu, where that driver was playing the worst music, and the people were all smelly and sweaty. And there was something good in there, wasn't there? At least, if there was nothing else, it brought you to where you were going. Isn't that something to think about? I mean, don't you agree? At least that's what I normally do. Even when I leave the public transport and my ears are ringing because of the loud music, or even I've had to see, the way they are so crude and they harass someone and they, at the end of it all, I say, okay, this can mess my day, or I can be glad that at least it brought me from where I was. Now I'm doing something even more productive. Whatever things are true, whatever things are just, whatever things are noble, whatever things are built, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are pure, if there is anything praiseworthy, think on that one. You will stay positive. And you'll avoid the negativity that just saps your energy and saps your energy. Secondly, think possibility. Oh, it's so easy to give in. I can't. I'm just a Kenyan in a third world country. I come from a poor family. You can stay there and you're thinking, poor me. There's a part of this country where they'll say, maskini, and they'll just, you can just you can wear that. But where will it take you? What value will it add to you? How far will it take you when you have spent all day thinking about what you cannot do? How about you started to think about what you can do? What is possible? Okay, in these circumstances, what can we do? Everywhere, they could be talking about who has stolen how many millions and how many billions, and which, and how everybody is corrupt, and how everyone is immoral. But what about you? Do you have to look at it as a gone situation? It can happen. It can change. That one day this country will be defining good governance. Wow, I can see the disbelief on your face. You don't think so?
At this point, you also expected an amen.
I would say so. It's possible. And if you do not believe, I'm looking at you, the average age here is about 20, 21 max. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, yes, there might be some who will be 25 or so, or 23, no, 30, not likely. Do you know what? If you do not think it is possible, that it can happen, that Kenya can get to the point where we will define good governance, then, the future can as well be buried. It can as well be buried. It has to be there in your heart, in your mind, in your thinking, that it is possible. I mean, we have one of the highest youth unemployment rates in the world. But I would like all of you to think it can happen. It is possible that I am the entrepreneur who will create 1,000 jobs for this country. Hello? If you do not start to believe it, that you'll begin a news agency, or you'll begin a media consultancy that will employ 1,000. Who is going to solve the unemployment problem in this country? We have to start to think it is possible. We have to start to believe that it is possible. And if we do not think that in our heart, and we are so fixated on, so-and-so is stealing this, Kenya, we will remain in that pit. We'll remain in that place where it is all negative. You know, there's a story told of a group of people. I'm still quoting from that wonderful book. You know, 4 million of them coming out from slavery. And they have been told, given the promise, you know, this is not anybody else, it's God himself telling them that you'll have that great land over there. And their leader, like all good leaders, sends 2 of them to go and look at the land. He sent actually 12 of them to just spy it, you know, to come and, you know, let's go check it out. And let us know how good is this land that we are going into. 12 people went. 12 came back. 10 of them had an interesting report. 10 of them had an interesting report. They say, it is impossible. We cannot do it. And you know, I hate the words they used. They said, we were like grasshoppers among those people. It was totally impossible. I don't believe that. There's not, impossibility is a word in the dictionary of the dead. Did you hear me? Yes. Impossibility is a word in the dictionary of the dead. If you are alive, there's an African proverb that says, you know, even a what? A dead lion. Is it the other way around? A dead lion and a live cat. Yeah. Exactly. It's better a live dog than a dead lion. You can be however big, but if you do not think possibility, you are as good as a dead lion. So impossibility is a word in the dictionary of the dead. Are you dead? Then everything is possible for you. Did you hear me? If you are alive, you have breath, everything is possible for you. Okay? Along with thinking possibility, learn to think abundance. Don't just think, okay, it's possible. Maybe I can do a M-Pesa shop. Don't think, you know, don't just think possible. Think possible, but also think abundance. What is stopping us? What is impossible? What's so different about you? What's so different about you? So think abundance. We need to move from the place of limiting ourselves. You know, as you think about, okay, let's stick with this one. I said you can create a media consultancy or you can create a news agency that would employ 1,000. Let's think, you'll not only employ 1,000, but you'll employ 1,000 in every country of the world. Abundance. Are you with me? And think it. The Bible, you know, it says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So as you think in your heart, if you think I will create a company that will employ 1,000 in every nation of the world, that is going to happen because you're thinking it and you're giving it life. Lastly, think posterity. Posterity is speaking to beyond yourself. If you want to limit yourself, okay, if you are keen If your life ambition is to limit yourself, think selfish. Wow. If your life ambition is, is to be nothing, think selfish. Everybody that has ever been anything in this world, even those millionaires you are hearing, they met a human need. They identified a human need in society and they met that need. Ask Zuckerberg. He met that need of connectivity. And now he's the billionaire he is. When you're on Facebook, you're making him money. But what did he do? He met a human need, the need for people to connect. So let's not think self. I think what ails us and why we become negative, because the more you look at yourself, that good old book defines the human being. It says the heart of man is desperately wicked, beyond cure. Who can heal it? It is beyond cure. If you think yourself and you are only focused on yourself, I repeat, that then means you want to become nothing. But if you think people, you think posterity, you think addressing human need, you are going beyond yourself. Then you know what? One, you will have every reason to be happy. Because you are meeting a need. You are helping people. You are doing good. But if you're only thinking, what can I get for myself? What can I get for myself? What can I get for myself? You're only looking inside of yourself. You become a small. Because you see what I'm doing? You just shrink. Because all you're doing is looking into yourself. But you think people. You go and you think and you go and you grow. And you then become international. You become global. Because you thought beyond yourself. And don't only think of the people today. Think about the people tomorrow. What are you handing over? The story is told in that book I've referred to. It's called the Bible. Of a man who God looked at. His name is Abraham. And he said, I cannot hide what I am thinking from this guy. Because he will teach it to he will not only learn it, but he will teach it to his children, and they will teach it to their children and his children's children. Posterity. Anytime you want to do and connect to anything good, think beyond yourself. And if you check, everybody who ever became anything, whether it's monetarily, politically, however, they always thought about human need. They thought beyond themselves. They looked beyond themselves. And that's what's ailing us. It is all about me. You know what? The selfie, yeah? So you even buy, why is it that we look for the more and more expensive phone? Why? Because I'll take better selfies. And not only that, it has great capacity. I'll store more of my selfies. Notice selfies and selfish are almost the same. So, you want to remain positive. Think beyond yourself. If you are asked and challenged to leave your comfort for the sake of others, would you? And I can tell you this with the benefit of having lived twice as long as you have lived and having been to literally every part of this country. It is the people who think beyond themselves who make it in life. But if you only think about yourself, in that selfishness, you will blunder. and you'll end up messing completely. So then it means we are all for one another. And when you do that, your eyes set on what am I doing, what am I adding value to the next generation, what am I adding value to the others, then you will remain positive. Think positive. Whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are lively, whatever things are pure, if there is anything worth in it, think about it. Think positive. Think possibility. Do not limit yourself. You can go as far as you would go. And not only that, think posterity, the future. Otherwise, then you will give in to the negativity and you will shrink and die, sadly. That's it. Okay.
I already feel like a king. Thinking.
Positive.
Thinking. Positive. Thinking.
Possibility.
Possibility and
Posterity.
posterity. That is why I'm saying I already feel like a king. And remember, it is. Yeah, only when you talk with such kind of men within the society, men of wisdom. Now you see, men of wisdom. Cindy, now I really want to be a man of wisdom. Okay? Then for sure, the more you have conversation, the more actually you can become wise, the more actually you can think even about prosperity. But many a times we are within our own cocoons. Why is Kenya lagging behind? He has said it. Why is Kenya lagging behind? Because we are selfish. Because we only live within our own cocoon. Hello? I don't want to speak much. That he has already spoken, okay? Yeah. But right now we are going to go on a short break and then we are going to come back. After the break, we'll have a session to have questions and comments from you, okay? Yes, so thank you very much. And for our viewers back there, 21144 is our SMS line. Don't go too far. We'll be right back. This is talking.
People think that life has already one destiny aligned for you.
First, I think I don't have dreams.
It is not that easy to admit on TV that you don't have dreams.
Everyone in this earth, in this world, they pretty much wait for life to happen.
And the one challenge that I keep telling the young people, it is the mindset.
Mind education is so important in many different ways.
When you go to the world, they don't ask you, are you Kikuyu or are you Luya? Hey, mimi ni Luya bwana, unajua huko Kakamega tunakulanga kuku. Now,
Wow, wow, wow. For sure, we are not making this up. This is a script that has been written right here. It's been read right here, and we'll tell the story right here on Talking, and that is why we are privileged to have Mr. Ronald with us today as we speak about, three things. Think positive, think possibility, think prosperity. And this actually is what all Kenyans need to hear. That actually we can make it, it is possible, and there is future. And especially with the lovely students that we have right here of Tibbs College, actually we are moving forward to change the society at large. And Mr. Ronald here was just about to mention something just for a few minutes before actually we begin the question and answer session. Also for you out there, if you have a question, please feel free to interact with us on Facebook, on Twitter, and also on SMS 21144. We will get back to you and also will connect you to Mr. Ronald. So Mr. Ronald, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. As I was saying, the office I hold right now, and as I've interacted with other people in the kind of position that I am, is basically to assess either suitability for a place in the school that I run, either as an employee or a student. What is it that normally kills or causes the interview to go well? It is, typically many job seekers will walk in and they're telling you about why they need the job. And they will outline. Some of them will even go to the extent of wanting to milk your emotion. I'm an orphan, or I'm the breadwinner in my family, or I was sacked unfairly where I was previously, and now I'm in hard time. I've hit upon hard times. That's not what wins an interview. You have to demonstrate for you to get that job that you have something of value to add for the company that is taking you, for the people that company serves, and for future generations. So when you walk into a place where you are being evaluated, do not dwell on yourself and the negative that you've gone through. No. Dwell on the good that you can do for that company, for the people that company serves, and the future of that company. That's how people lose or get jobs, when they demonstrate that.
Okay. That's a tip actually on the way forward, okay? And still within the three things. And I think he has a new name now, the man of three words, or three phrases. So freely, it's time for interaction. Anybody with a question, freely, we'll pick a few for the interest of time. I'll shoot the first question. And especially now that we are within a setup of journalism, do we as journalists, and I want to put myself in there because now I'm in the media industry as far as this is concerned, are we the people who are actually to blame or answerable to whatever actually we can see in the society? Because we are the ones who are giving it out. We are the ones who are actually the big say when it actually comes to what the society is talking about right now.
It's the responsibility that media persons and public figures have. It's enormous. If you have not yet come to terms with that and understood that you hold great responsibility as a public figure or as a media personality, then it will be good. You do, everyone a favor and you step up. Because what you say as a public figure and what you say as a media personality, who many people believe is very core. And I wouldn't want to say I blame the media per se or public personalities. But the truth is, sometimes media personalities and journalists have not exercised responsibility in, shaping the dialogue about society and about things in society. We will dwell on the negative, and I know the negative sells, which then flips the coin on the other side. It is the consumers as well, so that's why I'm saying I wouldn't want to lay the blame. But the flip side of it, that us who consume news, and I know this, consumers have power. If we do not like the narrative and the way a particular station or a particular publication is attempting to shape the public discourse and dialogue, then we need to boycott it. And we have that power to do. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell. Yeah. But again, both sides owe responsibility to be more judicious in choosing what they bring to. Choose your angle well. At least I read that somewhere, that when you're doing, I must be honest, yes, I read that somewhere. There's an angle you will pick of a particular story. Choose that angle well, and choose it as a person knowing you're speaking for the future, to the future, and for the good of every person. As I said, the standard is clear. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, bringing out the beauty of life. If it is of good, then that's what we should share.
Okay. Still based on the same, because you say it falls on both sides.
Yes.
So I'm checking, and especially I have interacted with his students, and to tell you the truth, I love them, especially the Robins. Wow. And one thing is coming to fore here, that when you speak about the heart and the mind, I don't know whether it's this way or how you feel it now that I have interacted with the system that you use. The education system leaves out this aspect of teaching us about what is actually
Matters
the
of the
inside
heart.
and of the mind. I don't know what you have to say to this.
I agree. And I mean, if that's the camera, I would look and say it's time Kenyan education changed. We have no alternative. We must engage the total person. Education is not worth it if it is not engaging the total person. And there is body, there is spirit, and there is the mind. We have an overly mental education, just feeding the mental. But we forget that there's a heart that needs feeding as well. It needs to be activated. It needs to be fanned. It needs to be helped to grow and to grasp it. Maybe that's the missing link in our Kenyan. In actual fact, I can say authoritatively, that's the missing link. And at this point, I would say, I wouldn't again lay full blame on the framers of the education system. It is more the practitioners of education, the teacher. The teacher is core. If the teacher understands the special role they have to touch the minds and the hearts of the children that are going through their hands, to awaken in them a sense of right, to awaken in them a desire to to speak into the future posterity, a desire to prosper the nation, then it's a wasted effort, because you'll forget what you have learned. But the heart has such a way that if it is trained right, that same clever man, Solomon, says, guard your heart diligently above everything else you guard, for there the issues of life are decided. If it is well trained, the heart will lead you right. But if it's poorly trained, then you'll rely overly on the facts. And so, a child whose heart has not been trained, they will simply look at, this guy is driving the latest Range Rover Sport, this guy has the biggest house, this guy has. Then to them, if this guy has all of these things, because they stole, then they will want to follow them. But when the heart is well trained and it has been activated, then at that point. So I challenge every teacher to arise to that responsibility of training the next generation of Kenyans aright in the way, that the world of the heart would be primary and above all other considerations.
Okay, thank you very much. Up to this point, maybe one more question, if you have one. Yes.
Yes, Naomi.
So I want to take you back to where you started from, because you said that the media tend to bring more of negative stories than the good side. But according to me, I guess that's right, because we are humans, and when we tend to bring more of good things, we'll relax and tend to say that the more we stay positively, the more good. But remember, when a disaster can occur, so the people will say, who is gonna take us to how we can overcome the disaster, because they have now relaxed. That's why they tend to bring more of negative to make them more confident and have more knowledge and skills on that.
I can respond to that? Okay. Thank you, Naomi. Let's appreciate Naomi for that good question. That's very true. Disasters happen. But how those disasters are covered is what's core. What makes the difference is how that disaster is presented. I mean, even in the Solai Dam tragedy, there were enough good things that came out. The human spirit, how some people went back. They had themselves escaped the waters, but they went back to pick. You know, they said, no, I will not escape alone. Remember we said about the more selfish you are, the more insignificant you are. But you know, the more you think about others, and you've seen, when, like during the height of the terrorist issues in our country, what would the media do? They would just blow the negative all out of proportion. Have you contrasted that, for example, with how media houses in Britain covered when there was a bombing in London? They will always look for the positive. We do not refuse the fact of what has happened. And that is important, it be brought out. But you know, choose your angle right. Look at, and I challenge you to go do this. Even the 9/11 story. You listen to American media discuss it, they will keep talking about the firefighters who went in, who went back to rescue people. You'll not hear them dwell on how, you know, these people planned and they took the flight. It's all about the angle. Let's look for the positive, the good. Even in any tragedy, there is always the good. Look for those stories. And I think the media personality who will define the next century is not the media personality who goes into a tragedy and all they're looking for is the dead bodies. Anybody can do that. A morgue attendant can collect the toll for you. For you as a media person, go in. Seek the human stories. You know, even the tsunami recently, in Indonesia, I was in Malaysia, Indonesia. For me, one story has stuck with me about an air traffic controller who remained in the tower. Although it was already shaking, but he remained in the tower until there was a plane on the runway, it took off. When it took off safely, that's when he jumped from that tower. He broke his legs and unfortunately broke a few other parts of his body and died. But he's my hero in that whole story. That you see, he is so that even if it means me losing my life, but let me save the 147 passengers on this plane. So that journalist for me is the one who reported right. Not the one who went to count how many people have. No, that one anybody can do. And that's what sets people apart. You look for that which is positive and good. And actually, check the people who've shaped life in the last century or so. It's not those ones who dwelt on the negative. It's those who dwelt on the good. And you read about them. I can start naming them. Mandela, who else?
Thank you very much. And for sure, we are privileged and honored. Actually, can we invite him once more? Yes. When you are coming over, also when we invite you? Yes, so from now henceforth, he can become our mentor, and especially for talking, we actually look for platforms where people can connect and actually build a better society for each and everyone, okay? So that is why even for the viewer out there, we are so glad that you made time to be with us, and we thank you. Actually, remember the 3 things. Today we were Mr. Ronald, a man of 3 words. Think positive.
Positive.
Think possibility, and think posterity. Thank you so much. Until we see each other next time, same place. Thank you so much. I hope that all of you have a lovely time. And thank you for also coming to the show. Be blessed.